When players are selected in the NFL draft, what age are they generally? 21, 22, 23, right? Sometimes you get guys who are 20 or even 19. Then on the other end, you get guys that are age 24 or 25, and that's pretty old. How about 27 and up? Since the turn of the millennium, I have counted 11 NFL players who were drafted when they were at least 27 years old, or taken in the year where they eventually turned 27. Your first question is probably, why the hell did it take them this long to get to play in the NFL? And your second is likely, were these guys any good? We'll find out as we discover the oldest NFL draft picks since the year 2000. And let's be clear, I love all 11 of these guys. So before we start, some ground rules. I'm not counting guys who got their first NFL snaps at the age of 27, but were drafted at any age below that. I'm also not counting undrafted players. Remember, this is about the oldest draft picks. So if you weren't taken in any of the 7 rounds, you're out of here. And those are the only 2 rules, so let's get started. First, we have running back Mike Anderson, age 27, taken in the 6th round of the 2000 NFL Draft. Some of the players on this list started playing at an older age either because they were minor league baseball players, because they were on church missions, or lived in a different country. Mike Anderson was a member of the Marines. Anderson's career arc is so unique because, well, he didn't even play a sport in high school. He tried, but quit before playing a game when his high school coach tried to convert him to playing as an offensive lineman. Although hesitant at first, he took the suggestion to play football at Mount San Jacinto College down in Southern California. And turns out he was excellent to the point where he found himself starting with the Utah Utes, a team that will play in the Western Athletic Conference, the Mountain West Conference, Pac-12, and Big 12. A lot of curveballs here. Here's another one. Mike Anderson was fantastic at this level too. And though he fell to the 6th round in 2000, he was going to a running back powerhouse in the Denver Broncos, who had also recently started the now famous Mile High Salute, so this was an incredible pairing. Behind 1,000-yard rushers Terrell Davis and Olandis Gary, Anderson was relegated to the 3rd string on the depth chart, but that changed after one regular season game when injuries to Davis and Gary elevated Anderson to the starting role. Although head coach Mike Shanahan is famous for how his zone blocking scheme elevated the play of his backs, it should be noted Anderson might be the best player in this video. In his first start against Atlanta, Anderson thrived with over 130 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. The next week at Oakland, he ran for 187 on 5.8 yards per attempt. Following that, his numbers were pretty up and down, but eventually, he made a name for himself after one of, if not, the greatest 2-game stretches a running back has ever had. In Week 13, Anderson carved up the Seahawks for 2 touchdowns, finishing 5 yards shy of running for 200. He got that and then some the next week against a top Saints defense, and his performance could very well be the NFL's greatest single-game effort. After rushing for 6.5 yards per attempt the previous week, Anderson ran for 6.8 this week, ran for 251 yards, a then rookie record and then the 4th highest total in a game, and became the first Broncos running back to score 4 touchdowns. Despite suffering a bruised knee in the middle of it all, it's this performance that propelled Anderson to win that season's Offensive Rookie of the Year award, as he finished with 1,487 rushing yards while scoring 15 touchdowns for 5 yards per attempt. After all the work he put in to get here, winning the award made him shake. He was grateful for it all. No one could have possibly predicted a 6th-round pick from the year 2000 would have this kind of impact on his team. But it happened. The rest of Anderson's career didn't go over smoothly. Further competition in the running back room forced him to move to fullback for a bit, and various injuries, including one that cost him his entire 2004, meant he never reached the same spectacular heights as his award-winning rookie season, save for a comeback 2005 where he ran for 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. It was an 8-year career before Anderson called it quits, before a 6th-rounder, for someone that old. When he was healthy, he was putting up a Herculean effort. A year later, we have quarterback Chris Weinke, taken in the 4th round by the Carolina Panthers at the age of 29. Technically, he was taken a couple months before he turned 29, but same difference, tomato, tomato. Weinke was an excellent baseball player in high school and was taken by the Toronto Blue Jays in the second round of the 1990 MLB draft. He never escaped the minor leagues and thus missed the chance to play for a team that in a few years would win back-to-back World Series. Although it is reported that Weinke was the first player to congratulate an opponent for getting the first hit of his career. That player was literally Michael Jordan, the greatest player the NBA had ever seen. Weinke's baseball career was going nowhere. Now it was time for Plan B. What I didn't reveal is he was also amazing as a quarterback in high school. Hell, he was even a hockey captain. But let's get back to the football, because before leaving to play baseball, he received scholarship offers from a levy of schools, including Florida State. Because he never enrolled, his scholarship offer was never affected, so he gave it a go and joined the Seminoles in 1997 at the age of 25. What he does from 1998 to 2000 as the team's starting quarterback is complete one of the most insane breakout careers of any level of any sport. Weinke was great in 1998, and despite suffering a season-ending neck injury at the end of that season, was even better in 1999 and somehow even better in 2000. He led the way for the 1999 Seminoles when they won the College Football Division I National Championship for their second of the 1990s, and at the age of 28 in 2000, became the oldest player to win the Heisman Trophy as college football's most outstanding player. During his acceptance speech, he quoted baseball legend Lou Gehrig, calling himself the luckiest man in the world. He was on the mountaintops, becoming one of 12 Seminole alumni to have his jersey number retired. Honored. Weinke's professional career would be less inspiring. He won his first start in Carolina in the opening week of 2001, right before the 0-1 Panthers went on to lose all of their remaining 15 games. He'd be 2-18 as a starter, yet what I find interesting is he stayed with the Panthers for 6 seasons, remaining as their backup QB after his disastrous 2001. Weinke's NFL career was a bust, but look at it this way. Considering he couldn't make it into the MLB or come anywhere close, he had to succeed as a college football quarterback to fail as a professional. He made the highest level of play in his Plan B, and at worst, he's a college football legend. Following his playing days, Weinke would venture into a successful coaching career, also winning another title in college as a member of the Alabama coaching staff. Pretty good football life, if you ask me. These next couple of stories don't share the same level of success as our first 2 entries, but the end goal remains the same. Get to the NFL at an advanced age, out of nowhere. That's what happens with 28-year-old receiver Andre King, taken in the 7th round of the 2001 NFL Draft by the Cleveland Browns. Born in Jamaica, King's family moved to Florida when he was 11. His accent made it difficult for him to fit in because his classmates in school just found it difficult to communicate with him. That changed, though, when people realized this kid could ball, not just in football, but in baseball. He came decimals away from a .500 batting average, also stealing bases like a high school Rickey Henderson. King had an offer from both the Michigan Wolverines for college football and the Atlanta Braves for about under $500,000 in baseball. King chose the Braves and turned the Wolverines down. I couldn't agree with him more. Go Buckeyes. Like Chris Weinke, King realized the life of a minor league baseball player was grueling. Traveling on buses for 5 years, eating nothing but greasy food, staying in motels that weren't extremely accommodating, and playing for pretty small crowds. But fortunately, football was still there for him. King chose a more local spot this time, going down to Miami, Florida to join the Hurricanes. In a wide receiver room that included Reggie Wayne and Santana Moss, who would both go on to have excellent NFL careers, King didn't do a whole lot of damage, but stayed on the team for 4 years and was academically honored by the school, also graduating with a degree in business administration and a minor in sports management, which he used later in his life to land him a job as an athletic director. A terrific performance at the 2001 East-West Shrine Bowl increased King's draft stock, and his 7th round selection at the hand of Cleveland reunited him with his Miami head coach Butch Davis, in the same role here of course. Tears of joy left King's eyes. He didn't think he was going to get taken. Primarily playing special teams his rookie season, King made his receiving debut in Bottlegate, one of the most controversial games in NFL history, to put it nicely. King caught 30 passes in his NFL career, all with the Browns for 327 yards and no touchdowns of any kind. I've mentioned before, the average NFL career is about 3 seasons. Well, King had 4, somehow landing himself a longer leash in pro football than most people there can afford. Sensational work for a Jamaican native. Our time machine takes us to 2003. The subject is 6th-round Miami Dolphin Corey Jenkins, a linebacker out of South Carolina at the age of 27. Again, he had a short career in minor league baseball, 4 seasons with Boston Red Sox affiliates where he went as high as AA before deciding, this isn't for me, I want to play football. And football he played. After 2 seasons in junior college, or JUCO, he returned home to play for the South Carolina Gamecocks as a utility player, playing at quarterback, running back, safety, and linebacker under legendary head coach Lou Holtz. He struggled as a starting passer, but Jenkins wasn't a bad runner at all, even going for 655 rushing yards in his senior season. I've tried to find defensive stats of any kind since there's evidence he did play defense in college, and I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I've been unable to locate anything. Jenkins switched to linebacker in 2 NFL seasons with the Dolphins, Bears, and Dolphins again. On one hand, Corey Jenkins made 9 tackles in his NFL career. Pretty bad. On the other hand, Corey Jenkins made 9 tackles in his NFL career. Pretty good. Most of the tackles came on special teams, but Jenkins did take some legit snaps from scrimmage. As a kid, I always felt like I had a good day if I scored at least 2 points in basketball, got a hit in baseball, made a tackle in football. I clearly was not cut out for the big leagues. But it goes to show Jenkins had some serious bragging rights with the rest of us, considering he had made 9 more tackles as a professional than most of us can make in middle school. He even picked off a pass as a member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the Canadian Football League. After hanging up his playing career, Jenkins, a decade and some change later, returned to the high school he thrived at as an athlete, Dreher, and became the football program's head coach in 2022, where he remains today. Our next target didn't play baseball, but had played rugby and hockey in high school. His name is 27-year-old offensive guard and Canada's own Danny Watkins. Watkins' NFL journey lasted 3 years, and as the 23rd overall pick in 2011, he's regarded as one of the bigger draft busts in Philadelphia Eagles history, or recent history anyway. But I think his story deserves greater care than what it's gotten, because his journey is truly unlike anything else. In high school, Watkins had a passion for firefighting, and at the age of 16, he became a junior firefighter for West Kelowna. Though the fire chief was hesitant at first, Watkins immediately made an impact and became, to quote the MMQB, the Peyton Manning of firefighting. He was a local legend. They'll tell stories of how he lifted a 250-pound man by himself to safety, removed a detachable hood from a truck so a battery could be removed, and his chemistry was so great with the rest of his crew that they were all cooking and watching TV together. He studied fire sciences in college, and it wasn't until the age of 22 that he was introduced by a buddy to football. He fell in love instantly, and at Butte College, he was so good at it that he became the team's starting right guard on opening week. 2 years later, his impact was clear. Almost 50 schools in America recruited him. He had no idea what the reputation of any of these schools was like, but he chose Baylor because the idea of warm weather and friendly faces enticed him. It was almost like football became Danny Watkins' destiny. He was a phenomenon with Baylor, even giving legendary pass rusher Von Miller a run for his money when the two faced off in his first season with the Baylor Bears. The result was a fantastic college career that landed the same person who had only played football for 5 years of his life a spot with Philadelphia as a first-rounder. He had even been drafted in the first round of the CFL, a rarity for a player to be taken in the first round of 2 professional football leagues. But his passion for an NFL career was nowhere near the amount he had for firefighting. The first thing Watkins did when he landed in Philadelphia, visited a bunch of firehouses. What was he doing when teammates spent off days working on their craft and studying game film? Visiting firehouses. He denied rumors that he was actually fighting fires while a member of the Eagles. He had only bought a fire truck while a member. Regardless, his heart wasn't in it. A lot of NFL fans didn't understand it, especially a fan base with a reputation as hostile as Philadelphia's. He was released after 2 seasons, further finding an NFL career unenjoyable after a hazing scandal broke out in his brief stint with the Dolphins. Though the NFL did bring him wealth, Danny Watkins traded a long career to go back to his true ceiling. I'm sure you can guess what that is. Watkins stayed out of the public spotlight after hanging up his career, offering a rare phone interview with the MMQB. He's made a living as a firefighter. He was even promoted as a captain at the Frisco Fire Department down in Texas. Far be it to suggest Eagles fans feel happy that this happened at all, but this is a unique instance where an NFL player couldn't be more than thrilled to be a first-round bust. Next, let's bring back our old buddy Brandon Weeden. That's not what I meant by old, but he was in his age 29 season when he was selected with the 22nd overall pick by the Cleveland Browns in 2012. Let's see if you saw this coming. Weeden was fantastic in high school in baseball and football, chose baseball over football, then quit baseball because his career was going nowhere. After that, he decided football was for him, enrolled at Oklahoma State, and realized he had way better odds of making it to the bigs here. I'm sure most of you watching recognize Weeden the most out of anyone that'll make an appearance here. Maybe you're dying to see a recap on how the Browns took him 22nd overall, even as most experts had him going in the second round. Then there's the possibility it'll be mentioned he lasted just 2 seasons in Cleveland and was demoted to a backup QB for the rest of his career. Well, I just gave you the abridged version of that rundown because that does not interest me. What does is that Weeden wasn't just a good college quarterback, he was a sensational college quarterback. Following 2 seasons on the bench, he finally got a chance to start in his junior year, which, by the way, was technically his second full season he even played quarterback in his life. And in 2010, the Cowboys reached 10 wins for the first time since 1988. That season, Weeden spared no expense with his numbers and was awarded first-team All-Big 12 with over 4,200 yards passing and 34 touchdown passes. In 2011, he raised it to over 4,700 passing yards and 37 touchdowns, both the most in the Big 12. OK State jumped from 11 wins in 2010 to a franchise record 12 in 2011, winning the Fiesta Bowl in a game where Weeden torched his Stanford opponents. You may have noticed I haven't really brought up the age of these guys, save for when they've been introduced. Weeden certainly wouldn't like it if I did. He knows he's older than Aaron Rodgers, despite Rodgers having been drafted in 2005, whereas Weeden was entering the 2012 NFL Draft. He wanted teams to look past that, as any QB his age would, and thought if he could stay in the NFL for at least 8 years, he would feel content. That would be a great NFL career. He was close, playing for 7 years, even as his status as a starting quarterback evaporated. He set a current record as the oldest first-round pick when he was taken in 2012. Could that be a testament to the incompetence of the Cleveland Browns as a franchise? Sure, but ask yourself, how many times do you see someone work in the sports equivalent of a dead-end job, struggle in the minors while his baseball career went to waste, get the opportunity of a lifetime to start in college football, become one of the greatest Big 12 quarterbacks of all time, then right before turning 29, some team calls you and tells you you're getting taken in the first round. And after all that, your NFL career lasts 3/4 of a decade as you get to say you were selected by an MLB and an NFL team. That's what Brandon Weeden did to even make it as a professional in the NFL. Staying in 2012, the path is more tedious for 29-year-old defensive tackle Jeris Pendleton, taken by the Jaguars in the 7th round. Pendleton didn't play college football on the spot. He was a high school phenom, and Michigan State offered him a scholarship, but he had to turn them down in order to support his family. He took a number of minimum wage jobs to get by: a nursing home housekeeper where he made $6.50 an hour, a stint in construction, and a job as a hospital security guard for $10 an hour. Along this 6-year journey, he had never given up on his football dream, and as a father of 2, he owed it to his family and his fiancée to follow up on it, rather than say shoulda, woulda, coulda. Down in Ohio, Pendleton joined the Ashland Eagles and felt a bond immediately with both the players and the community. By the end of his senior season, he had become a run-stuffing powerhouse, and the Jaguars took notice when they selected him with the 228th overall pick in 2012. Pendleton lasted 1 season in Jacksonville, spent a couple months training with the Dallas Cowboys, then landed with the Indianapolis Colts, where he stayed for the final 3 years of his NFL career. In the regular season, he had made just 3 career tackles. But in the 2013 divisional round at New England, he recorded 1 tackle in the first quarter on a play that prevented a first down. It doesn't matter that the Patriots got a first down the play after and that they scored a touchdown just minutes later. Jeris Pendleton, a decade removed from sacrificing his NFL dreams by working minimum wage jobs just so his family could get by, made a tackle while taking meaningful snaps in the first quarter of a playoff game. That's all well and good, you might be thinking, but isn't analyzing one playoff tackle the way I just did a bit hyperbolic? Not to Pendleton. He was so enamored with Indianapolis that he didn't bother moving after his Colts tenure and NFL career ended. It's not too far from his hometown in Chicago anyway. Over the years, he's remained a family man while working as a D-line coach and even as a scout for the Colts. To top it all off, Jeris Pendleton was the first Ashland Eagle taken in the NFL draft in the 21st century and the first taken since 1972. Remaining in 2012 again, we have the versatile guard and tackle Mark Asper, 27 years old when he was taken. Asper's path to the NFL was on hold due to what the papers called a religious mission commitment. But when the time was right, he joined the Oregon Ducks, spending 4 seasons there and started for 3 of them. His impact was there on and off the field. He used his time as an Eagle Scout down in Idaho to execute the Heimlich maneuver on the dad of an Oregon student that had been choking on beef. The man's life had been saved, and Asper went right back to eating dinner as if it never happened. Must happen all the time on campus. At his age, Asper had started on the Ducks O-line as both a guard and as a tackle, and in the 6th round in 2012, the Buffalo Bills gave him a shot. He was cut before the season, circled around on a couple other teams, made his way back to the Bills a year later, circled around on some more practice squads, and after 2015, that was that for his NFL career. 7 games, 0 starts. Asper's post-football life gets pretty comical. Following a stint with the Dolphins that ended in 2015, Asper returned to Bonneville, Idaho, his high school alumni, as a teacher and as the varsity football team's offensive line coach. He signed with the Patriots in August just when he got settled in, was cut before the month ended, and went back to Bonneville only to find his teaching role had been replaced, so he stayed as an O-line coach. He wanted to be a head coach and inquired about being the athletic director. They told him he didn't meet the requirements, so he offered to fill a position as an assistant athletic director. That position did not exist, and the then athletic director was baffled at how little Asper understood about the process. Asper didn't understand how they could have come to such a conclusion. After all, he played in college football and the NFL. Eventually, he decided to take a job in player development for Major League Football. Yes, Major League Football. Founded in 2014 in an attempt to be sort of the NFL's G League. But as of this recording, they have not played a single football game, so who knows if Asper is still there or not. According to his LinkedIn, he's found a career in sales and marketing. So hey, he's keeping himself busy years after yet another unlikely but very real expedition to the NFL. Up next? No, Down Under. We're heading to Australia in the year 2019. Our subject is San Francisco 49ers 27-year-old punter Mitch Wishnowsky, nicknamed the Bloomin' Onion. In high school, Wishnowsky played Australian rules football, which is like American football, except you can pass continuously while on the run. No, this is not rugby, where passes must be backwards. You can pass anywhere you want. Injuries forced Wishnowsky to quit, and he worked as a glazier, which he wasn't a fan of. When friends showed him NFL games, he decided this was his destiny, quit his job, and thrived at the Pro Kick Australia Training Academy for punters. He had a desire for kicking the ball long distances because that's what Australian football players dreamed of. Wishnowsky moved to Santa Barbara City College in California to start punting collegiately, then found himself ascending into a household name with the Utah Utes, winning the 2016 Ray Guy Award as college football's most outstanding punter in Division I. His Utah career was so good that the 49ers took him in 2019 in the 4th round, a round where taking a special teams player is seen as a reach. But Wishnowsky, along with Mike Anderson, just might be the best player in this video. Wishnowsky is still the team's starting punter, and he's currently 2nd in franchise history in yards per punt. As you'll see with 27-year-old Tory Taylor, It's becoming more common for NFL punters to flock from Australia. Taken by the Chicago Bears in the 4th round of the 2024 NFL Draft, Taylor had grown up a Dallas Cowboys fan, and his favorite player was All-Pro receiver Dez Bryant. Taylor dominated at Pro Kick Australia like Wishnowsky had, getting a referral to punt for the Iowa Hawkeyes, where in 2023 he performed his greatest miracle. Although they had a top-notch defense, Iowa's offense was historically garbage. They were near the bottom in the Division I college football rankings in yardage, and were the 3rd worst passing team in terms of yardage. To recap, Division I of college football had exactly 133 teams in 2023, and Iowa's offense was this close to being the 133rd best, aka the worst, team in yardage. But somehow, this team went 10-4 and won the Big Ten West Division. Much of it has to do with how Tory Taylor gave the Hawkeyes defense excellent field position. Literally, Taylor was getting MVP chants from the home crowd every time he stepped on the field. Considering his workload, he just might be the most valuable college football punter of all time. Naturally, he won the Ray Guy Award in 2023, garnering the Bears' interest in 2024. Rookie quarterback Caleb Williams joked that Taylor wouldn't have to punt much with the amount of firepower the team's offense had. The Bears punted more than all but one team in 2024, and Tory Taylor punted for 3,911 yards in his rookie season. In comparison, Eric Kramer in 1995 holds the Bears' single-season passing record with 3,838 yards. Tory Taylor has debunked the myth that punters cannot be more prolific than their starting quarterback, just as he debunks myths that Australia has snakes and spiders. They don't. Sure, Tory. It's early in Taylor's career, but whatever he does in the NFL just might pale to when he was the entire Iowa Hawkeyes offense in 2023. And we'll stay in 2024 as we encounter our last subject, Broncos wide receiver Devaughn Vele, age 27, when he was taken in the 7th round. Similar to Mark Asper, Vele spent 2 years on a church mission before redshirting in 2019 with the Utah Utes, who are on here for a 3rd time. Remarkable. He was serviceable in Utah, and that was enough to attract the Broncos his direction. On a Denver team that made the playoffs for the first time in 9 years, Vele had a significant role, catching 41 passes for 475 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sounds pedestrian, but for a 7th round receiver, this is near unprecedented. Let's take a look at every 7th round receiver since 1994. That's when the NFL draft condensed to 7 rounds, which is the format that has remained today. In first place in receiving yardage, we have Marcus Colston with 1,038 yards. Are you serious? Sorry. Tied for 2nd place is Devaughn Vele. 475 sounds far less impressive, but again, doing this as a 7th round rookie is absurd. Hopefully after this video gets released, Vele will stay a Denver Bronco and stay having a key role with the franchise. If not, well, there is always the angle that he even had a career in the NFL, despite being one of the game's older draft picks in the modern era. And voila, the 11 NFL draft picks of the 21st century whose rookie seasons existed when they were at the age of 27 or up. We've gone through a number of careers for these 11 players to get here. A Marine, a firefighter, a security guard, several minor league baseball players, and a glazier. The starts were different, but the finish line was the very same. Each of these 11 NFL players were just that, NFL players despite entering the league at more advanced ages. Their combined 50 seasons in the NFL or other pro football leagues meant the average career in this exclusive friend group lasted roughly 4.5 years. As I've repeated often, the average NFL career lasts 3 years. The NFL and sports in general sees a ton of rags to riches stories come true. That wasn't always the case with these guys, but they all deserve a ton of grace for making the cut in a league where the standards are as close to impossible as it can be in sports, all while outlasting all the geriatric jokes they must have gotten. The odds these guys had at a long, successful NFL career beginning at ages of 27, 28, or 29 might have been lower, but they were never too old to at least try. Hey, what's going on? It's me again. Thank you so much for watching this. Please subscribe. Please like this video. Please turn on notifications so you can see more videos like this one. I have this playlist here. There's my account right there. Yeah, I think it's time to end this. All right, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.